All right, my name is Anthony Barocas with AIBA Communications, and today I'm going to be doing a quick video on, I have two B3 lenses here, and I have been using B4 lenses for quite some time, and the big difference between a B3 and a B4 is the mount on the back of the lens. Let's see if I can get this one off here. Let's go overhead. So this is a B3 lens, and I have them adapted B3 to micro four thirds right here, and then this is not going to twist off. Okay, it'll twist off on the other wide. So it comes off on here, and the B3 has this wide flange. And let me give you a quick primer on why these lenses are so useful. If you shoot DSLR or you shoot, removable lens camera, most of those lenses are not made for video per se. What these lenses give you, B3 and B4 lenses behind me up here, these are all B4 lenses. Well, those are C-mount, but these are all B4 lenses. And what these give you is they give you a unique capability. Like on this lens, it is an 18x lens, which in and of itself is an amazing feature. 18x optical in a lens is just phenomenal. Now, this has a power zoom on it. I've tried to power it up, it's not powering up, so that's just the way this lens is. But this is also an f1.7, so a constant aperture throughout the entire 18x lens. And it's not an f4, it's not an f5.6. Well, I mean, you could turn it down to 5.6 if you wanted to. You could turn it down to 8, 11, 16, close. But it opens up to a 1.7. Now, these lenses have the whole front barrel rotates to focus. Newer lenses have internal focusing elements. The zoom, as I said, can be controlled by a motor, which can be powered via 12 volt right here, or you can set it to servo or manual. And you can use just a simple battery like this that provides the 12 volt through an adapter, goes into here, and you're good to go. These also accept remote controls for focus and zoom, so you can have them on handles and be driving your lens from a big tripod. And the other really cool thing about these lenses that I have here is they have this doubler. They have this 2x doubler on the side here. So you flip it in and you flip it out. And what you're doing is you're taking this block of optics and you're putting it into the optical chain of the lens, or taking it out of the optical chain of the lens. And what that does is it's the difference between not covering and fully covering a micro four thirds sensor. I have not tried these on Super 35. Generally, they don't cover Super 35. But if you're shooting 4K or 6K on a Super 35, then you can crop in to 3K, 4K, if you're shooting something bigger. I have one here. This is a micro four thirds lens. Have it in 4K. And let's see, we'll look through this lens. So this is what we're seeing right now. We've got a lot of light coming from my big soft light right above me. And if I flag that off, it actually looks really good. And this is, right here, this is wide open. So at wide open, it's a little fuzzy, but you close down to f2, whoa, look at that. That thing sharpens right up. Now, the cool thing is, like we're saying, here's this, I'm at a fixed aperture. And when I zoom through this lens, it stays in focus the entire time, right? I'm at 18x right there, so I'm super duper tight. And now you can see when I zoom out the vignetting that comes in. So when we add the doubler, look at that. I still have to flag it from the light overhead, and now it's a little darker. So we're going to open the iris a little bit, and you can see it's still a really sharp lens. And as we zoom in, again, we've got the in here, and I'm zooming in, and it's going to get really shaky because at this point 18x, and it's just super touchy. Now, admittedly, you're probably not going to zoom in 18x on something that's 5 feet away. You're probably not going to do that. But that goes to show you that these lenses can be very useful in terms of following sports, being able to like wide and close, and follow the action and adjust for the size of the action, whether it be a play coming towards you and you want to get it wider, a play all the way across the field and you want to get it closer. You can do that with these lenses on a Micro Four Thirds mount camera, or they have there are adapters that will take this and put this onto APS-C EOS, but then you need an additional, I think, 1/4 and larger to cover the APS-C frame from Micro Four Thirds. This is why I like Micro Four Thirds, because the sensor is smaller, you get coverage easier. And I have 2 of these lenses. I'm going to be putting both of these on eBay. This video is actually being made for that. And this lens also tried to power it up. It doesn't power. So they're being sold as is. The lens over here obviously focuses to infinity and everything. Let us take this one off. I gotta remember where the removal mount, and be very careful because these lenses are front heavy. Oh, okay. Rule 1, you always mount the lens via the foot on the lens. So when you're doing that, the lens is not attached properly. I know it's not attached properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unattach it from the tripod here, bring it down, and I'm going to show you. So we unmount the camera from the lens. And now, let's go overhead. I can show you, this is the lens that was on the camera. And so this is the adapter right here. It's got a foot and then my tripod plate. We call this the foot. And this is mounting Micro Four Thirds to B3. So it's got this flange here that mounts to this. And then once you put that in here, you can see the top, it's got a pin right there. And you slide this over that so it's not coming out anywhere. You could literally hold up a big shoulder mount camera with this flange. It's very durable. And that is this one. We're going to take that and move that aside. So you can see the same thing is here. It's got this large flange, and then it's got this B3 mount. The difference is I have my tripod plate on this one. So we're going to take the tripod plate off. And I have set the back focus for the big lens I just took off. I have set the back focus for that. It's also a Fujinon 18X, and it comes with the hood. For my camera, if you don't know about setting back focus, it is something you need to look up, and there's videos on the web, and I've got a Fujinon, obviously a chart right here specifically made for setting back focus. If you have a different camera, actually every single camera is different. The key is you need to set the back focus for your camera, and only then will your near and far focus stay in focus as you zoom the camera. This one is not set, so we're going to do a little focusing with that. And I am going to put this on here. Remember, with this big heavy lens, you're mounting the camera to the lens, not the lens to the camera. Put that in there. All right. And that looks horrible because nothing is in focus. So let's look through this one. Look at that. So what we're going to do here is, that's with the doubler in, that's with the doubler out. Let us adjust. Is the macro on? Oop, there we go. I had it. So now that's all the way wide. Let's zoom in. Let's
bring the focus down right there. I don't have a lens cover for this, so this is, if I flag it, you can see the color's much better than if it's not. And then we will zoom out. And that is still out of focus, so we still need to adjust that. Not that way. One really handy thing with the Micro Four Thirds cameras is, we're going to take it down just a little bit, is I can zoom in on the sensor. Set. Bam. Okay. So now, while flagging the lens, I'm going to try to adjust. You can see it go blue and orange. We're going to look for something right in between there. Fire us down just a little bit. There we go. That looks good. And then let's zoom in. Oh, okay. Let's actually get out of the crop. There we go. Let's zoom in. That's looking really good close up. And it's looking really good zoomed out too. And then we throw in the doubler. It covers the whole frame. That's wide. And that is fully zoomed in. So that looks really good too. The only thing I would be a little worried about this lens is it seems to stop at about 15 feet. I don't know if there's something in the lens, but I'll note that out on the listing for the two different lenses. It'll be the same video. But both of them are made for, or have the Micro Four Thirds adapter, and both of them clearly can be tested for good focus. Let's take this off of the tripod. And both of them are ready to go. So, with that, my name is Anthony Barocas of Aiba Communications, taking a quick look at two B3 lenses here in the studio, testing them out, and we'll be putting them on eBay. And all right, this is the lens that seems to stick at 15 feet. I am focusing on a house across the street. I'm zoomed in, so excuse the shake. And you can see that I can focus on the house. I can see how far I can go. I'm actually pulling focus back to get these guys. Recording in 4K. And that's how far they are. So that was handheld with no stabilizer. And if I take the doubler out, that's how far they are. But here's the doubler in. You can see actually fidelity on this lens is really nice. And zoom back out. Nope, not that ring. And then of course if you want to focus really close, I mean everything's kind of in focus at this point. All right. There you go. All right, and this is the lens with the hood. I'm having a little trouble holding it because the grip is set a little wider than I would like. This is set to f4 or so. Oops. All right, now it's out of focus. So, let's look at close up. There you go. I can see the focus peaking. Let's go look at our Moors. A little bright. We'll iris down a little bit. Get a little closer. Focus peaking says I'm solid on the truck. Again, this is handheld, and that dude is way over there. And looking out here, focus looks good across the image. And we can zoom in to that and set our focus there. I can see it on the tiles. And then the focus seems to change a little bit as I pull. So maybe I do not have, or maybe I bumped the macro on this lens, because now it says everything's in focus. But when I zoom in on the tree, obviously I'm not. Whereas if I set it out to there and zoom back, it kind of might be a little soft, but it's hard to tell in the viewfinder of the camera. And then when I rotate the focus, the peaking comes up on the trees and everything. So I'm going to say its back focus is off on this one again. Anyway, those are the two lenses.